Mom's too dramatic, Kira. You always overreact to everything. Dad said that from Vegas. Pool party in background. Someone jumping in water, splash loud, bass thumping hard. Meanwhile, I stood in ER with Rosa, woman who raised me after mom died, struggling for every breath. EMT just said 12 more hours meant sepsis. Dad holding margarita. Something inside me stopped. I hung up. But let me back up. 3 hours before that call. Thanksgiving Day. 3 p.m. I pulled up outside Dad and Diane's house in San Diego. 22 hours from New York. Clothes still wrinkled. Coffee stain on sleeve. Garage empty. No cars, should be 3. Door locked. I tried old key, still worked. Stepped inside. Darkness swallowed everything. Cold air hit face, furnace off, no turkey smell, no people sounds. Just thick silence. I called out. No one answered. Checked each room. Kitchen first. Dishes in sink from days ago. Mold crusted around edges. I opened fridge. Sour smell rushed out, shelves empty. Living room. Furniture like ghosts in dark. Dad's bedroom. Bed made military tight. No one slept there. Rosa's room and basement. They moved her down last year. Diane called it easier. Out of sight. Out of mind. My hand stopped on doorknob. Opened it. Dark. Damp smell, thick. Sickly sweet smell of illness underneath. Oxygen machine wheezing in corner. Monitor blinking green light. Rosa on bed. Sheets soaked dark. I touched her skin, burning hot. Lips cracked open. Dried blood and cracks. Eyes still closed. I called her name. Eyes opened slowly. Kira? Voice barely whisper. ¿Eso eres tú, mija? Yes, Rosa, I'm here. Fever raging. Breathing wrong. Shallow. Fast. Bedside table. 1 empty water bottle. No medicine. No food. No one. I asked how long she'd been alone. 3 days, mija. Voice breaking. They said they'd be back soon. 3 days? Thanksgiving week. I pulled out phone. 14 missed calls from me. No one answered. Her phone. 8 unanswered texts to Diane. Called 911. My voice came out flat. 78-year-old woman. High fever. Severe dehydration. Alone 3 days. Possible pneumonia. Where's family? I didn't answer that. Searched while waiting. Bathroom. Medications not refilled. Kitchen counter. Note in Diane's handwriting. Mom Rosa, Vegas for Thanksgiving. You'll be fine. Don't call unless real emergency. We need rest. D. I took photo. Evidence. Fridge. Food rotting. Trash. Old takeout containers. No one cooked. No one cared. Rosa's journal by bed. Last page is shaking. Tuesday cold. Diane said drink water. Tomorrow they leave. Wednesday fever. No one answering phone. Thursday blank. Ambulance arrived. Sirens piercing. Paramedics rushed in. Checked vitals. Face is serious. 103 degrees. Severe dehydration. Pneumonia developing. 12 more hours. Risk of sepsis. They lifted her onto stretcher. She looked scared. Eyes searching for mine. I'm here, Rosa. Not going anywhere. Inside ambulance. I held her hand, skin thin as paper. Bones fragile. Engine rumbling below. Siren wailing above. 3 days alone in dark. 3 days fever climbing. 3 days no one answered. 12 years ago. Different hospital. Mom. I was 17 running from school. 5 minutes late. Mom already gone. No one holding her hand. Rosa became my mother after that, and they left her to die. Phone buzzed. Dad's name? Finally. 3 days later. I answered. Kira? What's going on? Diane said emergency. Voice normal, annoyed. Rosa's in ambulance, pneumonia, alone 3 days. What? 3 days? We're in Vegas, you know that. She almost died. Silence. Then defensive voice. You're overreacting. Mom's fine. 103-degree fever. Risk of sepsis. Mom's too dramatic, Kira. Voice sharp, cutting. You always overreact to everything. Behind him, someone jumping, water splashing, woman laughing, music thumping, EDM rattling speakers, pool party in full swing. Something wanted to rise up hot. Burning, didn't rise, just stopped. Froze solid. Dad's at pool party. Statement, not question. I hung up. Stood under ER lights, white, fluorescent. Machines beeping, gurney wheels squeaking. Something had changed, I decided. Whole neighborhood would know. No screaming, no planning, just knew. Dad said emergency. Turns out her dying wasn't emergency. Almost funny. Almost. 12 years ago, standing by Mom's empty bed, I promised. No one I love dies alone. Never again. They just broke that promise. So I'd break something of theirs. No screaming, no violence, just truth told loud enough no one could ignore. Evidence already gathered. Witnesses already ready. Cold clarity. But before I tell you about Sunday night, when they drove back from Vegas, when neighbors gathered on lawn, when truth got exposed under porch lights, you need to understand how we got here. About childhood with Rosa, about day Diane entered our lives, about 12 years watching them slowly erase her from family photos, family dinners, family life. About pattern I kept seeing, kept hoping I was wrong. 3 days alone was an accident. Pattern was completing. And that's when I stopped hoping. Started planning, cold, calculated, clear. I grew up in that house, not with Dad and Diane, not later. I grew up with Rosa and Henry, my foster mother and father, my biological parents. That's different story. Story about two young people not ready to be parents, about broken promises and child left behind. I was 5 when I came to live with Rosa and Henry. 5 years old and scared of everything. Scared of loud noises, scared of raised voices, scared even of dark. I remember first day. Rosa stood at door, gray sweater, holding red-white checkered tablecloth in hands. She didn't hug me right away. She just looked at me, warm brown eyes, then said in Spanish-accented English, "Mija, welcome home. Safe here now." I didn't believe her. Back then, I couldn't believe anywhere was safe. But she didn't push me. She just let me stand there, in hallway, holding small blue suitcase, until I was ready to step inside. Took 3 hours. 3 hours standing at threshold. Rosa sat in living room, knitting, occasionally looking up to smile at me. No words, no rushing. Just sitting there, letting me know she'd wait as long as I needed. Finally, I stepped in because I smelled something. Sweet smell, warm, like honey and melting butter. I followed that smell to kitchen. On table, plate of cookies fresh from oven, chocolate chip, still hot, steam rising gently. Rosa appeared behind me. "You like cookies?" she asked, voice gentle as breeze. I nodded. Couldn't speak. She gave me one, wrapped in warm napkin. I bit into it. Sweet, soft, chocolate melting on tongue. And for first time in months, I wasn't scared anymore. From then on, she made cookies every week. Not because she especially loved baking, but because she knew that's how I felt loved. She never said, "I love you" much. She said it with hot cookies, with blankets pulled up to chin every night, with hands stroking my hair when I did homework. Henry was different. He was tall, thin, skin sun-weathered from years in construction. He spoke even less than Rosa, but he taught me other things. He taught me how to fix leaky faucets, how to hammer nails straight, how to stand firm when someone tried to push me down. "Kira," he said once when I was 9 and came home crying because kids bullied me at school, "life will knock you down many times. But important thing isn't never falling. It's always getting back up." He didn't hug me. He just placed his large hand on my shoulder, heavy but warm, and I knew he was saying, "You're strong, stronger than you think." I grew up in that small house with smell of cookies and morning coffee brewing, with sound of Henry fixing something in garage, hammer tapping steady, saw whirring, with sound of Rosa singing Spanish songs when she cooked dinner, voice trembling but cheerful. I grew up with dinners for 3 around old wooden table, warm yellow light shining down, Rosa asking about my day at school, Henry silently listening, but eyes lighting up whenever I mentioned good grades or test scores. I learned how to feel safe, learned how to trust, learned how to love. And then things started changing. I was 13 when I met Dad for first time. Jonathan Reeves, Rosa and Henry's biological son. They had 2 children, Jonathan and daughter, who died in car accident at 20. I knew about Jonathan. Rosa said he was busy with work in California, had his own family, didn't have much time to visit. But year I turned 13, he came back. First time in 8 years. I remember that day. Thanksgiving. Rosa tense all week, cleaning house more meticulously than usual, cooking more dishes than we could eat. Henry quieter, standing longer by window, looking out at street like waiting for someone. When Jonathan and Diane appeared, I was in my room. Heard car stopping. Heard doors slamming. Heard Rosa's voice, higher than usual, forced cheerful. Jonathan, Diane, come in, come in. I stepped into hallway. Saw him for first time. Tall, broad shoulders, wearing neat navy suit, hair slicked back, strong cologne smell when he hugged Rosa. Quick, superficial, like completing task. Diane stood behind, blonde hair flowing, white dress without single stain, smiling but eyes cold as ice scanning house, over old furniture, over faded paint walls, over me. This is Kira, Rosa said, hand on my shoulder. Our foster daughter. She's in 8th grade. Excellent student. Hi, Kira, Jonathan said, voice polite but distant. He didn't step forward, didn't shake hands, just nodded quickly, then turned to Henry. Dad, house still the same, huh? Not compliment. His voice carried something else. Disappointment? Judgment? I wasn't sure then. But I saw Henry straighten his back, jaw tightening. That dinner was awkward. Rosa tried to make everything perfect. Tender turkey, smooth mashed potatoes, hot gravy. But Jonathan and Diane just picked at food, talked about California weather, about business trips to New York, about resort they'd just stayed at in Cabo. Every story about their life, distant life, luxurious life, no room for this small house, for familiar turkey smell, for family sitting around table. I sat silent, cutting turkey into small pieces, trying not to look at Rosa's face. But I saw how she tried to smile, how she kept asking about Jonathan's life, about work, about plans, how she tried to create connection, but every answer short, polite, distant. When I stood to clear table, Diane said, voice sweet but something sharp underneath, Kira's good at housework, so helpful. I didn't understand implication then, just nodded, carried plates to kitchen. But later I realized Diane was categorizing me. Not as granddaughter, not as family, but as help. They stayed 2 days. 2 days of Rosa trying her hardest. 2 days of Jonathan polite but distant. 2 days of Diane smiling perfectly but cold eyes scanning everything like estimating value. And then they left. No promise to visit soon. Just, we'll keep in touch. Busy with work, you know. After they left, Rosa stood at door long time. I saw her shoulders sag. Saw her hand clutch handkerchief in pocket. Henry stood behind, saying nothing, just placing hand on her back. I didn't know what to say. Just walked over, stood beside her. She looked down at me, smiled sadly. He's very busy, mija. Life in California is hard. But I heard what she didn't say. He didn't want to be here. He didn't miss us. From then on, patterns started. Jonathan visited less often, once a year, then once every 2 years. Each time during holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, each time brief. Each time Diane found ways to mention things needing upgrade. This house needs repainting. Fridge is too old. Smell is a bit outdated. And each time Rosa tried harder, cleaned more, cooked more, made everything perfect. But perfect was never enough for Diane. I was 17 when Mom, my foster mom, passed away. Cancer, stage 4 when discovered, 6 months from diagnosis to death. 6 months I sat by hospital bed, holding her hand, watching her weaken each day. Jonathan came back twice in those 6 months. Each time stayed one day, each time uncomfortable, standing far from bed, talking about work obligations and about can't stay long. Rosa said nothing, just looked at her son with painful, hopeful eyes. Day my mom died, I was 17 and desperate. Ran from school to hospital, traffic jammed, suffocating on bus. Finally ran last 6 blocks. Lungs burning, heart pounding wildly. Reached hospital room at 3:47 p.m. Mom died at 3:42 p.m. 5 minutes, just 5 minutes. I stood in doorway, looked at empty bed, looked at silent machines. Looked at Henry sitting beside, hand holding Mom's hand, shoulders shaking. No one there when Mom took last breath. He'd gone down to cafeteria for coffee. Nurses busy with other patients. Room empty when Mom left. Mom died alone. I knelt by bed, held Mom's hand, already cold, looked at her face, peaceful but gone, and I promised. Promised Mom, promised myself, never again. No one I love will die alone. Never. Jonathan came to funeral, stood in back. Perfect black suit. Didn't cry, didn't stay after. Have to get back to work. Busy season. From then on, just 3 people. Me, Rosa, Henry. We learned to live in silence, in absence, in missing. I was 18 when I joined Army. Needed escape, needed purpose, needed to prove something. Not sure to whom, but needed to prove. Rosa cried when I left. Didn't cry loud, just quiet tears when hugging me at airport. Come back safe, Mija. Always come home. I promised to return, and I kept word. Every leave, I flew back to San Diego. Sat with Rosa in kitchen, ate cookies, told stories. Heard her tell about neighborhood, about neighbors, about garden. Henry died when I was 25. Heart attack, sudden, no warning. One day he was fixing fence, next day gone. I came home for funeral. Saw Rosa, smaller, weaker, lost. Saw Jonathan, still distant, still busy. Diane beside him, sympathetic smile, but eyes already calculating something. After funeral, Jonathan told Rosa, Mom should move to assisted living. This house too big for one person. Rosa sat on old sofa, hand-holding Henry's photo, shaking her head. This is home. Henry's home. I can't leave. Mom, this is practical. You need care. I have Kira. She looked at me. She'll visit. Right, Mika? Yes, Rosa. I'll come back. Jonathan looked at me, first time really looking at me, and I saw something in his eyes. Resentment? Jealousy? Not sure, but cold. From then on, pattern became clearer. Every time I visited Rosa, everything okay, she happy. House clean, garden thriving. We cooked together, looked at old photos, talked about everything. But every time Jonathan and Diane came back, very rare atmosphere changed. Rosa anxious, tried to make everything perfect, tried to make them stay. But they always had excuse to leave early. And Diane always had comments. Always. This house needs modernizing. This neighborhood is declining. Mom Rosa should consider moving closer to us. California is better. Rosa shook her head each time. Firm. This was her house. Her memories. Her life. And every time Diane mentioned moving, I saw Jonathan nod along. Saw them exchange looks, plans being formed. I was 28, back from 3rd deployment when I got call from Diane. Kira, Mom Rosa had stroke. Not too serious, but she needs help. I flew back immediately. Saw her in hospital bed. Face drooping on one side, right hand weak. But she was alert. She looked at me, smiled crookedly. Mia, you came back. Yes, Rosa, I'm here. Doctor said she needed recovery time. Physical therapy, help at home. Couldn't live alone anymore. Jonathan and Diane arrived at hospital 2 days after me. They'd been in California. Couldn't leave right away. We need to talk about care plan, Jonathan said, standing at foot of bed, not sitting, not holding Rosa's hand. She's going home, I said. I'll arrange home health aid. Kira, that's not practical. She needs professional facility. She said she wants to go home. Diane stepped in, voice soft, reasonable. Kira, honey, we understand you love Rosa, but this is about what's best for her. We're adults, we make hard decisions. I am adult, I cut in. And she's been clear. She wants to go home, her home. Jonathan and Diane exchanged look, that look. The one I'd seen many times. The look that said, this girl is interfering with our plans. Finally, they agreed, reluctantly. Rosa went home. I arranged home health aid 3 days a week. Arranged meal delivery, arranged everything. And I promised Rosa I'd visit whenever possible. Every leave, every break. Rosa recovered slowly. Right hand still weak, but better. Speech mostly returned. She could walk with cane. But over next year, I noticed changes each time I came back. Jonathan and Diane didn't visit, didn't call regularly. Rosa mentioned them less, her eyes sadder, and then last year they suggested moving her to basement. Room downstairs easier, Mom. No need to go up and downstairs, safer. Rosa didn't want to, but they insisted. And eventually, once she was alone, weak, they moved her down. Dark room, damp, isolated from main house, out of sight, out of mind, pattern complete. And then this year's Thanksgiving arrived, and they went to Vegas. And Rosa left alone 3 days. 3 days led to phone call. Phone call led to decision. Decision led to now. Now, sitting in hospital waiting room, holding Rosa's hand as she slept after surgery, I remembered everything. Every moment, every pattern, every sign I missed or ignored. And I knew one thing for certain. They would pay. Not with violence, not with loud revenge, with truth. Simple, undeniable truth told to right people. Whole neighborhood would know how they abandoned her. Would know about Vegas trip while she was dying. Would know about pattern over years. And reputation they'd built. Perfect family, caring son, devoted daughter-in-law, would crumble. Didn't need to do much, just show evidence, let facts speak. And that's exactly what I would do. I joined Army at 18. Basic training at Fort Benning. 6 months later, first deployment, Iraq. 20 years old, private first class, intel analysis assignment. Didn't tell Rosa much about work. Couldn't, classified. But also because she'd worry. She'd already lost one daughter, didn't need more nightmares. What I told her, office work, safe, just sitting at computers. Not completely wrong, I sat at computers. But what was on screens, drone footage of IED placements, intercepted comms about planned attacks, satellite images, wasn't just paperwork. First deployment lasted 12 months. 12 months in Skyif, sensitive compartmented information facility. Small room, thick walls, no windows, smell of old coffee hanging in air, smell of cold sweat. Hot metal from servers, monitors on 24 hours, cold blue light shining on faces. Air conditioning rumbling, but room still hot. I sat there 10, 12, 14 hours each day, analyzing patterns, tracking movements, building profiles. Work wasn't dramatic. No shootouts, no explosions. Just data, numbers, coordinates. But those numbers saved lives. Month 4, identified pattern in comms traffic. One cell planning large-scale attack on convoy route. Tracked movements 3 days, built timeline, predicted location, report went up. Route changed. 2 days later, IED exploded on old route. Crater big as minivan, shrapnel everywhere. No one died. Convoy wasn't there. Because I caught pattern. CO called me into office, said my work saved lives. Good work. Keep it up. Brief, professional, military way of saying, I see you, you matter. Stood at attention. Said yes, sir, didn't smile. But inside, something warm. My work mattered. Lives saved mattered. First time in years, felt valuable. Not because someone loved me, because skills I had saved people. Real people, real lives. Came back to States after 12 months, 2 weeks leave, flew to San Diego. Rosa waiting at airport, rushed forward when she saw me, hugged tight long time, went home. She cooked big dinner, tamales, rice, beans. Sat around table, just 2 of us. She asked about deployment. Told what I could, weather, people, food. Didn't mention skiff, didn't mention IEDs, didn't mention sleepless nights. She held my hand, asked if work was important, said, yes, work important. Her eyes shone with pride. Said she knew, you always do well. That was last time I felt completely understood. 2 days later, Jonathan and Diane came. Business trip to San Diego. Stopped by to say hi. Opened door, Jonathan in gray suit, shiny leather briefcase. Diane in cream dress, high heels, sunglasses covering face. Surprised to see me. Didn't know I was back. They came in. Rosa, excited, rushed to kitchen. Sitting in living room. I stood in doorway, uniform on, combat boots, camo pants, army shirt, hair tied back. Still carrying stiffness from base. Jonathan asked about deployment. Voice like asking about weather. Casual. Told him. Productive. Intelligence analysis. He repeated, productive. Tone had something in it. Asked what exactly I did, said, intelligence analysis. He nodded. Oh, paperwork stuff. Paperwork. Didn't correct him. Didn't explain convoy saved. Lives saved. Just something like that, sir. Diane leaned forward, sympathetic smile. Asked must be hard, being away from home, missing holidays. When was I settling down? Meeting someone? Not how was work. Not what missions. Not what risks. Asked, when getting real life? Rosa returned with cookies. Started saying, proud voice, my work was important. Jonathan cut in. Polite. Done with topic. Said that's nice, Mom. Then, need to talk about house, repairs, property values. Conversation shifted. From deployment, 12 months analyzing threats, saving lives, to house maintenance. Stood there 5 more minutes. No one asked more. No one cared where I'd just come from, what I'd done. Excused myself. Went upstairs, sat on bed, looked at uniform hanging, pressed, badges earned, looked at boots, scuffed with sand, worn for months, hands clenched, jaw tight, didn't cry, trained not to cry, chest ached, throat tight, something cold in stomach. They didn't understand. Couldn't. Maybe didn't want to. Saved lives, 20 soldiers, 20 families, and they saw paperwork stuff. Next year, deployed to Afghanistan. Promoted to specialist. Worked directly with tactical teams, SEALs, Rangers. Analysis went straight to operators in field. Stakes higher. Mistakes meant casualties. Month 2, tracked Taliban commander planning base attack. Built pattern, identified safe house, confirmed timing, mission approved. Watched drone feed live, team breached, secured target. 0 casualties. Team lead patted my shoulder, said solid work. Intel accurate. Week later, Navy SEAL found me in dining facility. Tall, muscled combat operator. Asked if I was Reeves, said yes. Shook hands, firm grip, said thanks. My package saved his team. Clean, professional. Then, sentence I never forgot. Guys like you, reason guys like me make it home. Walked away. I stood there. Tray in hands, lukewarm coffee. Guys like you, reason make it home. Not family who said that. Stranger. SEAL who didn't know my name before. But he saw value, saw impact, saw I mattered. That year came home for Christmas. Jonathan and Diane came. Rare. Dinner like always. Rosa cooked too much. Turkey, ham, everything. Jonathan talked about promotion, senior VP. Diane about hotel in Napa Valley. Everything about them. Their successes, their life. Nobody asked about my year, about deployment, about promotion to sergeant. Mid-dinner, Diane turned. Voice sweet. Asked if I was still in Army. When was I transitioning? Getting real career? Set fork down. Careful, said, this is real career. She smiled. Voice like talking to child. Said she knew but meant long-term. Army not forever. Eventually real job, real paycheck, real life, real, real, real. Kept repeating in my head. Tried to explain. Intel analyst, promoted to sergeant, work important, lives saved. She nodded, still patronizing. Said that's nice. But eventually, real world is different. Career path, wealth building, future. Rosa tried. My work important. Jonathan cut in. Said, Mom, we know. Military good experience, but real career, real future, different. Kira's young, still figuring out. Normal, figuring out. Like lost child. Not staff sergeant. Not analyst preventing attacks. Not person SEALs thanked. Didn't argue. Didn't explain mission that prevented 50 deaths. Didn't mention SEAL's words, just, yes, sir. Finished in silence. Cleared plates. Washed dishes while they discussed investments. Rosa joined me at sink. Her hand touched mine, warm, soft. Whispered, don't pay attention. They don't understand. Squeezed my hand, said, I'm proud, always. Throat closed, eyes burned, pushed it down, said, I know, Rosa, but hurt was sharp, persistent, digging deeper. Third deployment, age 28, staff sergeant, lead analyst, team of 3, mission tempo intense. ISIS spiking, daily threats, no breaks. Major operation in May, packaged my team and I built 30 pages, hundreds of hours, backbone of entire op. Pre-brief, Admiral walked in, 2 stars, reviewed package. Nodded, looked up, said comprehensive, detailed. Damn good work. If mission goes clean, it's because of analysts like you. Mission went. Clean. Objectives achieved. 0 casualties. Hundreds of lives saved. CO pulled me aside, said intel possibly saved hundreds. Understand the impact? Stood in hallway, concrete walls, harsh lights, diesel smell, something cracked inside. Admiral praised, SEAL thanked, CO acknowledged. Strangers saw value. Family? Paperwork stuff. Real career needed. Figuring out life. After saving hundreds. Week later, Skyped Rosa, connection spotty. Mentioned Jonathan and Diane had visited. They asked about me. She hesitated. Said, Diane suggested, other careers. Army not good long term. Wasting time. Wasting time. Kept face neutral. Voice steady. Said, I understand. She said she told them work was important, but they didn't understand. Said, it's okay. I'm okay. Lied. Call ended. Sat at desk, monitors glowing, threats streaming, hands shook, jaw locked. Shoulders rigid, wasting time. While analyzing threats. 16-hour days. Admiral praised, SEALs thanked. Wasting time. Breathed, deep, slow, controlled. Back to monitors, back to data, back to work. Because work mattered. Lives mattered. Even if family wouldn't see. Came back to States next month. 2 weeks leave. Rosa at airport like always. Jonathan and Diane couldn't visit. Too busy. Maybe next time. Fine. Better. Peaceful 2 weeks. Just me and Rosa. Day before leaving, she held my hands. Said, they don't understand, but I do. I'm proud. Don't let them make you doubt. Throat tight, eyes stung. Said, I don't doubt. Lied. Doubted constantly. Every dismissal, every real job suggestion, every wasting time implication. But learn to ignore it. Focus on mission. Focus on work. Focus on lives saved. That was real. That mattered. That had value. Family opinions? Hurt. Infuriating. But couldn't change facts, couldn't change impact. Eventually they'd see. Not through words, through actions, consequences. Truth exposed. Didn't know truth would come from 3 days they abandoned Rosa. Didn't know pattern would break like it did. Didn't know I would make neighborhoods see their real faces. But seeds were planted. Frustration built. Determination formed. When moment came, Rosa alone, sick, abandoned while they were in Vegas, everything clicked. Not just rescue, reckoning. Show everyone who they were, what they valued, how little they cared. With evidence, witnesses, truth, not revenge. Justice. Family matter? Voice raised. Rare. Mr. Martinez, quiet man. Family doesn't abandon sick mother. Family doesn't party while she's dying. That's not family matter. That's abandonment. Set tamales down, looked at me. Your abuela is proud of you, real granddaughter. Not blood, heart. Left. Jonathan stood center of living room. Face white now, not red. White. Diane pacing, heels clicking on floor. This is ridiculous. Neighbors don't understand. They understand fine. Turned. Rosa at bedroom doorway, leaning on cane. Face tired but eyes clear. Rosa. Jonathan moved forward. You should rest. No. Voice weak but firm. You need to listen. Moved slowly to living room. I helped her. Sat in armchair, breathing heavy from effort. I told Jonathan, told Diane before, if you can't be with me when I need you, then don't expect me to give you anything. This house, money, nothing. Mom, you can't be serious. Henry and I wrote our will, clear. If you abandon me in emergency, everything goes to Kira. Person who's actually here. Person who cares. Silence, complete. Could hear clock ticking in hallway. Diane's voice strangled. You're cutting us out. For her, for foster kid. Rosa looked at Diane. Long look, sad look. Kira isn't foster kid. Kira is daughter, real daughter. Person here when I need her. And my biological son in Vegas, posting pictures. Jonathan sat, heavy, face and hands. Mom, we needed break. Years of taking care, stress, we just needed break, Rosa repeated. Break from dying mother. He looked up, eyes wet. It wasn't like that. We love you, just needed time. Diane stressed, I stressed, and I was dying. But that wasn't convenient for your vacation. She stood, slow. I helped her. You should go, I'm tired. Kira will be here, like always. Jonathan and Diane didn't move, frozen. Are you serious? Jonathan whispered. Very. They left, slow, defeated. Diane crying, Jonathan staring straight ahead. Door closed behind them. Rosa sat, breathing heavy. I got water. She drank, slowly. You did right, Mika, calling ambulance. Saving me, being here. You don't need to thank me. I know, but I say it anyway. Held her hand. Sat quiet. House settled around us. Later that night, more neighbors came. Quiet stream. Mrs. Wong, the Nguyens, Mr. Peterson, all bringing food, all checking on Rosa, all pointedly not asking about Jonathan. The message clear, neighborhood saw, neighborhood knew, neighborhood chose side, and that side wasn't Jonathan's. I didn't gloat, didn't feel triumphant, just felt settled. Like something finally balanced. Like justice, quiet justice, finally arrived. Not revenge, just truth. Truth witnessed, truth acknowledged. Truth carrying weight it always should have. Rosa alive. Neighbors watching. Jonathan and Diane facing reality. Actions have consequences. Abandonment has costs. And sometimes foster kid they dismissed, ignored, suggested get real job. Sometimes that person becomes only thing standing between them and complete loss. Irony sharp, clean, deserved. Let me tell you what happened after. The weeks, the months when dust settled and life tried to continue. Not fairy tale, not perfect happy ending, but something. Something better than before. 3 weeks after that Sunday night, Jonathan called. Not text, not email, actual phone call. Voice different, quieter, less certain. Asked if he could visit Rosa. Proper visit. Not quick stop. Real time. Told him. Ask her, not my decision. Right, yes, I'll ask her. Hung up. Sat there with phone in hand. Surprised? Maybe. Skeptical? Definitely. But something in his voice, genuine? Or just scared of losing inheritance? Didn't know yet. Time would tell. He called Rosa, talked long. I didn't hear conversation but heard her voice. Careful, guarded, eventually softening slightly. After call ended, she sat quiet long time. Finally, moi. He wants to come. Says he's sorry. Wants to do better. Do you believe him? Shrugged. Slight, tired. Don't know, Mija, but he's my son. I want to believe. Understood that. Wanting to believe. Even when belief came hard. Do you want him to come? Nodded. Slow. Yes, but you stay here, okay? Yes, Rosa, I'll be here. Jonathan came Friday evening, alone. Diane didn't come. Maybe couldn't face it yet. Maybe they argued. Didn't know, didn't ask. Arrived 6 p.m., knocked soft, not demanding, almost hesitant. Opened door. He stood there, jeans, plain shirt, no suit. First time I'd seen him not wearing business attire, hands in pockets, face uncertain. Kira, hi, is she home? Stepped aside. Living room. He walked in. Slow, like entering unfamiliar space despite growing up here. Rosa, an armchair. Sitting up. Stronger now, weeks of recovery showing. Jonathan stopped at doorway to living room, looked at her, long moment. Hi, Mom. Jonathan, voice neutral, waiting. He moved closer. Didn't sit immediately, stood awkward. I want to say sorry. About Vegas. About leaving you alone. About everything. She didn't respond right away. Let silence sit. Are you sorry because I cut you from Will? Or because you're actually sorry? He flinched. Visible. Both, honestly. Both, but sat on couch. Heavy. But more because I realized I'm awful son. Not because of Vegas. Because of years of not coming home, not calling enough, taking you for granted. Voice cracked slightly. Real? Performed? Couldn't tell yet. Rosa watched him, face unreadable. Diane and I, we focused too much on our life, career, money, success, forgot, forgot you, forgot family isn't business transaction. I stood in corner, watching, arms crossed, guard up. Military bearing softer but still present. Jonathan looked over at me. And Kira, God, I was really shitty. Calling your work paperwork? Suggesting real career. You save lives and I dismissed it like it was nothing. Didn't respond, just watched. I don't expect forgiveness. From you, from her. Just want you to know I see clearly now. See, I was wrong. See, you were right. Silence settled. Long, heavy. Rosa finally spoke. Voice tired. You say beautiful words, Jonathan, but words are easy. Actions are hard. I need to see changes. Real. Lasting. I understand. I don't know if I can trust you again, but I'm willing to try. If you're willing to do the work. He nodded. Quick, eager. Yes, anything. I'll visit more often. Call more. Actually be present. We'll see. Not forgiveness, not acceptance. Just door cracked open. Slightly. Possibility. Jonathan stayed an hour, talked carefully, asked about her health, about recovery, about neighbors. Actually listened. Actually seemed to care. Before leaving, turned to me. Kira, I know I don't have right to ask, but could I sometimes call, check in? Not about mom, about you, about family. Looked at him, long, assessing. We'll see. Same word she used. Careful, guarded, no promises. He nodded, understood, didn't push. Fair enough. Left. Rosa and I sat quiet. Processing. What do you think, Mika? Don't know yet. Words are easy. Actions are proof. True, but he's trying. That's a start. Maybe. Time would tell. Week later, article appeared in San Diego Union Tribune. Local section, feature about veterans returning home, families not understanding military service. Paper called me, asked for interview. Initially declined. Didn't want spotlight. Didn't need validation. But reporter persistent. Said story important. Other vets facing same disconnect, same dismissal. Eventually agreed. Limited interview. No classified details. Just experience. Family struggle. Common story, really. Article ran Thursday. Photo of me in uniform. Formal portrait from Army file. Headline. Local veteran. They called it paperwork. I called it saving lives. Not dramatic. Not sensational. Just honest account about disconnect between military service and civilian understanding. Response surprised me. Emails. Dozens. From strangers. Other vets. Families. People saying, me too. Thank you. Finally, someone said it. One email from Afghanistan veteran. 3 deployments. Family called the service vacation from real life. He quit talking to them years ago. Article made him feel seen. Another from mother. Son deployed. She admitted she didn't understand what he did. Article helped her see. She called him. Actually asked, actually listened. Didn't expect that. Didn't write article for validation, but helped. Knowing words reached people, made difference. Jonathan texted, saw article, said, I'm sorry I never understood. I'm trying to now. Short, simple, not grand gesture, but something. Replied, thank you. 2 words. All I could give, not ready for more. Maybe eventually. Maybe. Month later, returned to duty. Back to base, back to work. Felt right. Felt like home in way San Diego couldn't anymore. Team welcomed me back. Briefings caught up, missions resumed, familiar rhythm, comfortable structure. CO called meeting. Said higher-ups noticed article. Asked if I wanted to speak about veteran family disconnect. Some PR thing. Base event. Declined, politely, firmly. Said, I'm analyst, not speaker. Work best done quiet, behind scenes. CO nodded. Respected that. Didn't push. But added, Work I did during deployment, during leave with Rosa, showed character, loyalty, integrity. Those things mattered. Brass noticed. Future opportunities possible if wanted. Thanked him, meant it, but told truth. Just wanted to do job. Analyze threats. Save lives. Didn't need promotions or recognition. Just wanted work to matter. He smiled. That's why you're good at this, Reeves. You actually care about mission over career. Maybe. Or maybe just found purpose in work family couldn't understand. Either way, felt right. 2 months later, Jonathan visited again. Then again, month after. Pattern emerging, slow, tentative, but consistent. Diane came once, awkward, painful, said sorry in voice clearly practiced. Rosa polite, distant. Told Diane same thing she told Jonathan. Actions over words. Diane nodded. Left. Didn't come back yet, maybe wouldn't. Maybe needed more time. Maybe never could face what she'd done. Okay, not everyone capable of change. Capable of. Not everyone wanted to. Jonathan, though, trying. Actually trying. Called Rosa weekly. Visited monthly. Asked questions. Actually remembered answers. One visit, brought photo albums, old ones from his childhood. Sat with Rosa, went through them together. Laughed about memories. Cried about Henry. Talked about Mom, his sister, my mother, who died young, who I never knew well. I sat in corner, watched, listened, didn't participate much. Not ready for that, maybe never would be. But seeing him connect with Rosa, seeing her smile, real smile, that was something. After he left, she took my hand. He's trying, Mija. Not perfect, but trying. I see. Enough to forgive? Thought about that. Long time. Not yet, but maybe someday. We'll see. She nodded. Understood. That's fair. Forgiveness must be earned, not given free. Exactly. 6 months after Sunday night confrontation, life settled into new normal. Rosa stronger, health stable, home aid 3 times weekly. Jonathan visiting regularly. I deployed again, but stayed connected. Video calls, letters, actual communication. Jonathan and I, not close. Probably never would be, but civil, respectful, occasionally almost friendly. He asked about work sometimes. Actually listened, tried to understand. Didn't always get it, but tried. That was more than before. That was something. One call, he said something that stuck with me. Kira, I know I messed up. Badly, and I know sorry isn't enough. But I want you to know I respect you, truly. You're stronger than me, better than me, always have been. Didn't know what to say, so said truth. Thank you. That means something. Not everything, but something. Progress. Sitting in SIF one night, monitors glowing, analyzing threats as always, thought about everything, about Rosa almost dying, about Jonathan's dismissals, about neighbors standing up, about Rosa's will, about slow, painful rebuilding, about fact, that family wasn't perfect. Probably never would be. Scars remained. Trust fragile. Relationship tentative. But better than nothing, better than silence, better than dismissal. And realized, didn't need their approval anymore. Didn't need validation from Jonathan or Diane. Had validation from work, from SEALs, from Admiral, from lives saved. Their respect? Nice. Welcome. But not necessary for worth. Worth came from within. From knowing impact of work, from being present for Rosa, from standing up when needed. That was enough. Life wasn't perfect. Family wasn't healed completely. Maybe never would. But moving forward, better than before. Hopeful, cautiously. And that was enough. Today is Thanksgiving. 2 years after that Sunday night. Let me tell you what's different. I'm sitting here, kitchen of Rosa's house. My house now. Warm afternoon sunlight through window. Turkey smell from oven. Cranberry sauce bubbling on stove. Smell of home. Rosa, an armchair in corner. Gray hair whiter now, but eyes bright. Knitting. Hands slow but steady. Looks up, smiles at me. Doorbell. Jonathan and Diane standing on doorstep. Holding dishes. Faces tentative. Genuine. Happy Thanksgiving, Kira. Come in. Not awkward like last year, not tense like first time, just normal. Almost. Dinner 4 people around table. Small, quiet, good. Middle of meal, Jonathan clears throat. 2 years ago, I was in Vegas pool drinking margarita. Mom alone, sick. That was worst moment of my life. Looks at me, eyes honest. Kira saved Mom, but saved me too. You forced me to see person I'd become. Thank you for standing up. Throat tight. You're welcome. Diane nods. I'm sorry too for dismissing you, your work, who you are. You deserved better. Rosa takes my hand, squeezes. Now eat before it gets cold. Laughter, small, real. Tension melts. They try. Ask about deployment. Listen to answers. Remember details. Not perfect. Stumble sometimes, but catch themselves. Correct. Try again. That's progress. That's after dinner, washing dishes together. Jonathan drying, Diane putting away. He sets plate down. Turns. You didn't need inheritance to prove worth. You earned everything by showing up. Being present. That's real legacy. Voice soft. Means it. Thank you. That matters. Simple. True enough. Night. Porch with Rosa. Stars bright overhead. Cool air. Peaceful. What do you think, Mia? They're trying. Really trying. Do you forgive? Long pause. Truth. Not completely. Some wounds too deep, but not angry. Not bitter. Just moving forward. Smart, Mika. Anger too heavy to carry. Exactly. 2 years ago, made choice to confront family. Expose truth. Risk everything. Led to pain. Breakdown. Difficult rebuilding, but necessary. Because silence worse. Watching person you love suffer worse. Accepting unacceptable worse. Standing up, even when it costs something, sometimes only right choice. 2 years later, sitting on porch of my house. Rosa healthy beside me. Family trying to rebuild. Peace earned, not given. Worth it? Absolutely. Every uncomfortable conversation, every boundary set, every truth spoken. Worth it. Tomorrow, fly back to base. Back to SIF monitors. Back to analyzing threats. Back to work that saves lives nobody sees, nobody thanks. That's okay. Value doesn't need audience. Impact doesn't need recognition. Purpose doesn't need applause. Just needs doing. Jonathan and Diane inherited money, status, success. I inherited integrity, purpose, peace. Know which I'd choose. Rosa calls from inside. Mija, tea? Stand. Smile. Coming, Rosa. Walk inside. Kitchen warm, lights golden. Home. Real home. Earned through showing up, through choosing right thing over easy thing. Legacy isn't inheritance money. Legacy is who you are when nobody's watching. How you treat people when it costs you something. Whether you stand up when it matters most. Henry taught that. Rosa showed that. Military reinforced that. And I'm living it. Every day, every choice, every moment. That's enough, more than enough, everything. If this story touched you, if you ever felt dismissed, underestimated, told your path wasn't enough, remember this. Your worth doesn't depend on who sees it. Your impact doesn't need applause. Your legacy isn't what you inherit. It's what you do when nobody's watching. Subscribe for more stories about ordinary people making extraordinary choices, about standing up when it costs something, about finding peace not in approval, but in integrity. Because sometimes the hardest battles aren't fought with weapons. They're fought with truth.